And I believe that there's another man inside every man. A stranger. A conniving man.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to The Movie Buffer. Tonight we're going to continue our series From Book to Movie, 1922, a novella by Stephen King. 1922 is a 2017 American horror drama film written and directed by Zak Hilditch, based on Stephen King's 2010 novella of the same name, starring Thomas Dane, Neal McDonough, and Molly Parker. The film was released on Netflix on October 20th, 2017, and it's still available now to check out. In 1992, Wilfred "Wilf" James is a farmer living in Hemingford, Nebraska with his wife Arlette and their 14-year-old son Henry. Wilf is strongly opposed to Arlette's plans to sell the farm and move to Omaha. He decides to convince Henry to help murder Arlette, holding Henry's girlfriend Shannon, whose relationship Arlette opposes, at stake. Henry reluctantly agrees to assist his father in carrying out the murder of his mother. This movie is narrated by the main character, Wilfred. He is a man who is guilty of the one thing many of us are: greed. His greed, however, was not necessarily money. Money was an offset of his real desire. His greed was wanting a life that he did not earn. His wife inherited the farm and land from her father, but he no longer wanted to be with her, and she no longer wanted to be with him. So instead of divorcing, as she had suggested, which would have given him a split of the stake of the land, he didn't want that because that was not his true goal in life. He wanted the farm free and clear. He even offered to buy the farm in installments, but Arlette wanted the money now so she could leave the small one-horse town to move to the city. But Wilfred wanted to stay where he was. If they divorced, he would have to leave the farm and start again, somewhere else. But he didn't want that. He wanted it all, at least by his standpoint. He wanted the farm. He wanted his son to carry on his name and the property and to grow old there. His wife wanted out, and she had every right to sell the place and leave because the property was ultimately hers. The worst part of this tale for me is that he was so selfish in his greed that he was willing to involve his only child, his son, in his plot to kill his wife. Why wouldn't he just send his son away or take his wife away somewhere and kill her without his son's knowledge? But he used his son's love for his girlfriend to get him to assist him in murder, but not just murder, the murder of his mother. This changed Henry forever, and unfortunately, this murder set off a chain of events where his forever was not going to be very long at all. The ripple effect ended with the death of Henry's girlfriend and Henry's own suicide. The spooky gore of this movie is also in the novella. Stephen King has written many novellas that have turned into movies. A few that you have heard of is The Dark Half, The Secret Window, starring Johnny Depp, which is eerily similar to what Johnny is going through with his wife Amber Heard right now. Others are Shawshank Redemption and Stand By Me. The movie 1922 sticks to the novella to the letter, except of course some omissions for clarity and time. I felt that Thomas Jane, who also played in another Stephen King short story turned movie in The Mist, and also he played in Stephen King's The Dreamcatcher. He was definitely perfect choice for Wilfred. His voice and his look, literally what I saw in my head. The Bonnie and Clyde subplot of his son Henry and his love Shannon was beautiful and so desperately sad. I could see how their love would have blossomed into a great future had it not been for Wilfred's greed. This tale is one that should have never happened, period. All blame falls onto one man, and that is Wilfred James. Talk about paths not taken. Had he simply divorced his wife, went on with his life starting over somewhere else, none of this horrible deaths and outcomes that affected so many others in this story would have happened. Had he tried harder and moved to the city with his wife and son, then also none of this would have ever happened. But no, he had to have it all.
Henry was right. There was another way. There always is. But in 1922, the conniving man inside farmer Wilfred James had begged to differ.
You just have to mind the gap, and the gap is the life you want and the life that actually is. So, have you watched the movie 1922? It's on Netflix. Have you read the novella, which you can find in the Stephen King collection called Full Dark, No Stars, also on Audible? I highly recommend reading it, and also reading Fair Extension, which is also a part of that 4-part novella book. There are 2 other stories which you may find enjoyable as well. Thanks so much, guys, for listening and watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy hearing about movies, TV shows, and books that you may or may not have heard of before. Please share if you found this video appealing. Until next time, peace, 2 fingers.